Matthew 5, verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger for righteousness, for they will be filled. Every day, multiple times a day, we crave things. We desire something in specific. And of course, cravings and desires, they're both forms of wanting, but cravings are generally considered a more intense and urgent form of desire, often associated with something specific. So, like when you're hungry, those cravings, for food, they start to grow more when your belly starts growling. Like, for example, like I said, when you're really hungry, your mind obviously sends a signal to you that you're hungry. And after a while, when your belly starts growling, those cravings grow. You crave something to eat to fill your belly with even more now. And some cravings are like that. Some cravings, we need them. Some cravings are physical needs that we need. We need them in order to survive. Like, again, with food, we need food in order to survive. And with water, we need water in order to survive. And when our bodies give us those cravings, we crave food or we crave water, those things are physical needs. But not all cravings are good. Not all cravings are always good. And so that's exactly why we have to pay attention to our cravings and ask ourselves, what do we crave? Do we hunger for righteousness? Do we hunger for the ways of God? Do we hunger to stand up for what is right? Or do we hunger for negative things? Do we crave for revenge when someone hurts us? Are our cravings associated with the Lord, or are they not? Our physical needs mirror our spiritual needs. And the reason for why your physical needs reflect your spiritual needs is because your physical actions, your actions and what you practice can reflect your inner spiritual state, which is what the verse, you will be known by your fruit, means. You will be known by your actions. You will be known by what you practice. If you're constantly going out and being mean to others, that's going to reflect who you are as a believer. And people are probably not going to believe that you are a disciple of Christ. And so that is how your physical needs reflect your spiritual needs. And so that is also why we have to be careful of what our cravings are, because our cravings can cause us to do either good things or bad things. When we crave for, like what I said earlier, revenge for something someone did to us, if we go out and do that, if we go out and do something horrible to that person or just revenge to that person, we're not really going to be demonstrating Jesus Christ, because that isn't what Jesus would do. Jesus would not take revenge. He Jesus Christ literally encourages us to leave everything to God. And so he wouldn't do that. And so if we do that because of something we crave or we desired, it's not going to be demonstrating God. It's not going to be demonstrating Jesus Christ in a good light. And so that is why we have to be careful. We have to pay attention to what our cravings are, because they might not always be positive. They might be negative sometimes. And those cravings, if we don't pay attention to them and we listen to them, the negative cravings, then we will end up committing a sin. We will end up maybe doing something that just doesn't demonstrate Jesus Christ in a good light. And so we have to pray to the Lord so that he may fill us for a hunger for righteousness, for a hunger for righteousness. And we also have to remember that while not all cravings are negative, some cravings, we have to understand that they won't satisfy us like God does. When we hunger for righteousness, when we hunger for what's right, when we hunger for the Lord's ways, that those are the cravings that will satisfy us, because God is the only one that can satisfy us. Of course, there's nothing wrong with craving a good game sometimes, like for example playing video games or watching a good show. But we have to understand that those things won't satisfy us like God does, like God will. And so that is what this verse just reminded me of, that what you crave matters, and you have to pay attention to what you crave. You have to pay attention to your desires, because they may not always be positive. And when you listen to your negative desires, they can lead you to doing things that just don't demonstrate Jesus Christ in a good light. They can lead you to doing bad things, or to committing sins, or to doing things that just don't please the Lord. And also that not all cravings, while not all cravings may be negative, they can't satisfy us like God does. And so when we hunger for righteousness, and when we hunger for the things of God, for everything that's right and just and right, those are the cravings that will satisfy us, because those are the cravings that will lead us to God, and God is the only one that can satisfy us in the way that he does. And so, yeah, we have to pay attention to our desires and make sure that we just pay attention to them. And if they're negative desires, and if we don't know whether they're negative or bad cravings, we can take them to God and ask him. God is listening. You just have to believe that he will respond. Do not doubt that God will respond, because then he will never respond. God wants you to trust in him. And so, do not doubt in God, or that he's going to respond to your prayers. Trust in him, and just bring all of your cravings to him, all of your desires. If you don't know whether they're bad or not, please bring them to him, because he knows. He knows, and he loves you, and he wants to help you. And he wants you to know that he's there, and that he's the only thing that will satisfy you. God is the only one that can satisfy you fully. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this video, and that you pay attention to your desires, and that you bring all of them to God as well. God bless you.